Welcome to All Things Boss with your girl Boss Lady T. Today I have a special guest, my good friend O'Neal Wyche. I am going to let him do an official introduction of himself. So O'Neal, take it away.
Thank you, Tatum, for having me. Let's see. What can we get started?
I mean, you do so much.
I know. Well, I'll start by saying I started out as a fashion designer. I was around a creative family of entrepreneurs, and just inspired every day from the struggles, from the creativity, the ups and downs, and then that victory moments.
Right.
So I started sketching back in high school, and then went into college. Took a class in corsetry and millinery work, and just inspired me to go into costume design for theater. Had an internship in Roanoke, Virginia for about 2 years. Then I moved to New York for an interview with Juilliard that I did not get. I was rejected for minimal experience, but it took me down a different path into women's ready-to-wear, and I interned at Bessie Johnson. She hired me after a year, and after that, everything just started rolling out,
Which is lead us to
Yes.
all the wonderful things that O'Neal is doing right now. Just to give a little bit of history. Okay, so I met O'Neal when he was launching East Lafayette Street, which was a wonderful elite boys clothing line,
Yes.
I would say. And my two boys were modeling, and it was a great experience. And, with that, we developed a relationship. We developed a business working relationship, and now O'Neal is here with All Things Boss, and I am excited. I have been noticing that you've been using the slogan, celebrate your uniqueness. And I think that speaks volume. So I want to know, what was the inspiration behind that for you?
Myself, my struggle. Although I came from such a sheltered, supportive family, they never taught me how to have self-worth, and to believe in myself. I always found that within myself. And I was working on a speech for Brooks County Middle School. I usually go back home as much as I can, but usually every Unity Day, October 25th, because October is anti-bullying month.
Yes.
Bullying prevention. So anything that deals with bullying, because I was bullied when I was a kid, from 3rd grade up until my 11th grade year of high school, in different ways.
Right.
As
it's not all the same.
Right, it's not the same. It could be one day it could be teasing me because of my mannerisms or what I was wearing, or if I excelled at something, or just being different. Right. And as a young teen, I didn't understand that was cool at the time. I didn't know that was cool.
Just wanted to fit in.
Yeah, I wanted to fit in, but there was something in me that wouldn't allow that to happen. Because I would just get bored with what they would do, because it was consistent, but it was boring when it came to the conversation, when it came to the activities they were doing, or what they were wearing. So I decided to just do me,
and let you shine,
and let me shine. Right.
I think right now, especially right now, hearing these horrible stories that are on the news of such young babies committing suicide due to bullying, I think this conversation that we're having right now is so needed. I think parents really need to sit down and have conversations with their children. How was your day? How are your friends? What are your relationships like? It sounds tedious, but it's so important. I mean, although as adults, we look at it as these little kids haven't even lived life yet. What are they so stressed out about? What's the big deal? No, it's a big deal when you have children that are taking their lives at the tender age of 8. You know what I mean? So with you going back into your community and letting these kids know that may be different, not everyone is gonna always fit in. Letting them know that is okay, because you are you and nobody else can be you, and learn to celebrate that. And I really want to be able to push that message across. And I think everything that you do is awesome, because it's so very important.
Yes.
And I think your advocacy and giving back into your community is awesome. What other ways besides going back into your community that you feel with this movement of celebrating your uniqueness can affect what's really happening right now?
Right. Celebrating your uniqueness is just an affirmation, a reminder for everybody, no matter what age it is. And ironically, it just kind of happened while I was writing my speech out for, going out to the middle school to speak to those kids.
Right.
But what I realized was that this works in my case as well, in my friends' cases, and even in my mother's case.
Yeah.
It's just a reminder that you are worthy of whatever it is you want.
So I feel like the problem with bullies is that they are examining themselves, they're questioning themselves, and they have issues within. Clearly, anyone that goes to target someone else for no reason at all has an issue within. And, I think on both sides, it really needs to be addressed. The bully and the one that is being bullied, and it's, why are you doing this? What's going on with you? And I think that they need to have conversations as well. It's not just like they're the bad guy. You know what I mean? We need to talk to them as well.
Yes, when I was preparing the speech for the kids, I wanted to make sure that I acknowledged both perspectives.
Right.
So I had them look around the room, look to the person on both sides of them. And I asked them to raise their hand if they found someone that looked just like them, dressed like them, act like them, talk like them. There was no one in the room that could say that. And I had, I just reiterated it to them, like, listen, everyone in this room comes from a different background, different cultures, different parents. There's some kids here that the only meals they have is breakfast and lunch from the school. So I started asking questions. I was like, raise your hand if you don't worry about where your next meal comes from. Raise your hand if you have fresh, clean clothes to wear every day. Right? And then I said, there are some kids here that wear the same clothes 3 days a week. Not because they choose to wear it, it's because of their circumstances that they can't control.
They're children.
Right. So I wanted to get them to understand, when you're bullying someone because of the way they look, the way they're dressed, the way they talk, you're not sure of why this is happening.
Exactly.
So I just wanted them to understand, like, before you make a comment or make a decision to say something about someone, think about it first.
So before we wrap up, I must mention that you are a part of this whole relaunch of TRL.
Yes.
Can you please explain how this all happened?
Yeah, that was an amazing experience. First of all, I was on a flight back to New York after speaking at the school during Unity Day, and Catherine Serrano, the mother of the Trendsetters, she called and asked if I was available to create a custom cake for Mikkel.
Right.
Mikkel is the youngest brother of the group. He's more like the dancer, the superhero.
Okay.
Minnie is the rapper. And JoJo is the DJ,
Right.
music producer. And they formed the Trendsetters. So we went out the following day. Once I got back to New York, we went out the following day with his mother and father, Esteban Serrano. And we just went around looking for fabrics. Mikhail knew exactly what he was looking for. He knew the colors, fabrics.
That's awesome.
I had a little helper. Like, he just,
Like,
it's better than adults.
To make for me.
Right. Sometimes kids are better than adults when it comes to clients. They know what they want. They're not looking at other things.
Right.
They have their eye on the prize, and it was easy to do that. But I love this because this is the first time I actually sewed a full garment on a sewing machine in like 4 years.
Okay.
Because I stepped away from it for a while because I just needed to step back and try to figure out my next steps, or
that's okay.
you know,
Sometimes you gotta hit that reset button.
yes,
Pause button, or maybe even that stop button.
Yes.
Because man, listen, I get it, and I mean, just to even be a part of TRL, that's like TRL is, you know, that's classic, you know.
Yes.
And for them to come back, you know, shout out to TRL, by the way. Free promotion. you know, somebody can cut me a check. But anyway, I'm happy that you were able to like experience that.
Yeah.
That's great.
I feel like it was just frequency. You know, we were on the same frequency. Everything was just, you know, synced together. Even for them, like, you know, they watched the first season of Stranger Things, and then they wrote, you know, the rhyme.
Promotion.
Yes. Came up with the
promo.
beat.
Netflix, I'm gonna check it.
Okay, and
Right.
so, you know, with TRL launching again, and then the new season of Stranger Things, and then them creating a song in a day,
That's
it just
amazing.
all worked out.
That's amazing.
You know,
But
just
for you
all
to be a part of that, I am like, that's amazing.
I know. I came along for the ride. That's why I tell. I was like, thank you for letting me come along for the
when
ride.
I saw everything happen, I was like, that's my friend.
I could believe
but I am so happy that you came on my show, shared a little bit of your story, and definitely inspired. You know, that's my main goal with All Things Boss. I want people to be able to walk away with something, you know, learn something, take something with them that will encourage them to take that next step and whatever it is that they want to do. So I appreciate you even touching on the bullying, being unique, and even just your journey as being an entrepreneur in this fashion industry, this fashion world, and just sharing with us. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you all so much for tuning in to All Things Boss. See you next time.
Hey y'all, if y'all want to check me out behind the scenes of everything I'm doing, either in costume design, fashion design, public speaking, anything that I'm doing, because I do a lot, you can check me out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at O'Neal Wyche. Also, I have a second page for all of my costuming behind the scenes things. On Instagram, it's O'Neal Wyche Atelier, Atelier. Alright?